Hello, everyone, and welcome to SimRacing.Club's live broadcast of Season 1 of the Virtual Super GT. We're coming to you live from a virtual version of the Euro Speedway Lausitz, and the guys are just forming up on the grid now. About 16 GT 500 cars, 17, sorry, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 GT 300 cars taking the start here today. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box is Edmund Trevelyan-Johnson. Hello, Ed. We're looking for 2 hours of very interesting racing today here at Lausitzring.
Yeah, I think what interests me is that I haven't seen any series run this car before, either of these cars. I don't know the GT300 that well, but I do know that the physics are based off the GT500, so I think they should perform pretty similarly. But obviously, the GT300, sorry, is a little bit down on power. It should be able to run a bit further into its stint. So I'm expecting the GT500s to stop a little earlier, and maybe even go into the race with kind of a two-stop strategy in mind.
Yes, indeed. We've got 2 hours of racing here today, and of course 2 separate classes, and both cars have different ways of approaching this 2-hour stint of this very, very twisty German circuit. This is a combined road and oval course, technically, Euro Speedway Lausitz, and we're looking for possibly a 2-stop strategy for the Nissan GT500 cars, but as you said, Edmund, the GT300 cars should maybe be able to one-stop this, but we'll see. Everyone's looking to be running soft tyres here today as they're continuing to tour around the formation lap here. It's going to be a question of who can preserve their tyres most efficiently, and that's what's going to determine who will win this race. So Alex Broughtingham leading the field at the moment. Niki Jakovic very close behind him for Team Vires. Lazaros Filippikos qualifying in 3rd place. Very impressive there, followed by Pedro Ramada and Argenis Riera. Down in the GT300s, we have got Miguel Santiago Caro leading the field there in the GT300s, followed by Boris Vakulski and Linus Lundvall. Jan Studensky and Adam Farmer are driving behind them. Gabriel Ster and Tero Dahlberg forming up the rest of the field as the GT500s are coming through the final couple of turns now on the formation lap. Green flag between turns 13 and turn 1.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just before we go back to the GT500s for the start, it's worth keeping an eye on the GT300s because most of them will have just graduated from the SimRacing.Club Academy. So even though there are only 7 cars, it'll be quite an interesting field to watch. And I certainly think because this track has a lot of high curves and it's quite bumpy, it's an interesting choice for the first race of the season, race of attrition.
Yeah, certainly, especially at a track like this. The Euro Speedway Lausitz is a very twisty, very technical circuit that's going to be incredibly hard on the tyres, but the GT500's now rounding turn 13, that final long sweeping
Shouldn't they be
left-hander. Waiting for the green flag.
Oh, okay.
This is the tense part of it. Wait for the green flag. And green flag is away, and we are go. So, take a look as they come into turn 1. Broughtingham leading the way. Oh, goodness me.
Immediately,
yeah, Jakovic.
I thought Jakovic would probably be a little bit miffed by being pipped to the pole by Broughtingham, and of course he's immediately gone for the move in the first corner. Not exactly a surprise from Jakovic.
Yeah, very true. Niki Jakovic stamping his authority on this race immediately on lap 1. And look at the gap he's pulled already. That's quite impressive to see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you would have thought almost like he would try to back the field up into some of these tight corners, but actually no, he's gone straight away through that first back straight, and actually it looks like Broughtingham's being harried by the famous gamepad user Lazaros Philippakos. And not far behind him is Ramada in the Ramada Motorsports.
We got a move.
Nissan.
Sorry for position 13. Matt Strand overtaking Lee Allen. That
Yeah.
very, very long right-hander. Bit of a move under brakes there. We also saw Thierry Shallow go by Hugo Marquez for P11 a few minutes ago.
Watch Shallow.
Oh, look out. Shallow almost went for the move up the inside there, but thought better of it.
Hinz was really vibrating his kind of front steering down his steering down that straight. So I wonder whether he feels like he's got a flat spot or something like that. Just feeling to see whether maybe he got a bit of damage or something like that. Seeing whether the suspension's a bit damaged.
Yeah, true. That's we'll have to keep an eye on that. But meanwhile, Niki Jakovic has just started this race on an absolute flyer, pulling out well over 2 seconds on Alex Broughtingham. And now everybody from P2 back is starting to form a bit of a freight train around Lausitzring at the moment. But oh, goodness me, Shallow, Marquez and Strand are all bunched up there, coming onto the back straight.
Yeah, I think...
just tripping over each other in these tight corners, eh?
I wonder what happened to Marquez in the qualifying. Oh god, his Strand brakes extremely late. I thought he was going to rear end Marquez, but I thought I didn't know quite why Marquez was so far. But as he gets sideways, sorry, they're interrupting me every time I try to talk about them. Marquez is not a slow driver. I mean, nor I'm sure are any of the people in this field, but I did expect him to be a little bit higher in that Ramada Motorsports car. So more of what I expected actually to see him work his way up the field like this.
Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, looking further back in the GT300 field, it seems that Miguel Santiago Caro is
running away with
his own. Yep, over Jan Studenski. But
look at
Boris,
Talberg.
Talberg and Lundvall there. Oh, just outbraking. Lundvall shuts the door there.
Nicely done.
Yes, very, very nicely done. These GT300 cars, they are less powerful than the GT500s, but they do have the same amount of downforce. As we see a GT500 there behind the GT300s, that's Sando Donadel making his way there. He must have had a problem in the first couple of laps to be behind those cars. Meanwhile,
yes,
Adam Farmer and Gabriel Stair bringing up the rear of the field, but keeping it nice and clean.
Yeah, Adam Farmer in that Mad Max themed GT300. I think there was a bit of a debate on the forums as to whether he'd made some sort of mistake, but I quite like the look of it. That said, I would do my best to avoid anyone who used a livery like that.
Yes.
Questioning what their intentions are if they take a Mad Max sort of livery onto the track.
Certainly. Meanwhile, moving back up into the GT500s, I'm looking at P10, P11, P12, P13. All these guys are very close on track at the moment.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, just look at Lowe. He was right on the rear of Ferry, just going through the midsection. They're so bunched up now. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. This little bunch of 7th, 8th, and 9th is extremely close.
True, and what you've got to take into account here is these GT500 cars, they're not GT cars in the strictest sense of the word. They are much closer to purpose-built prototypes or single-seaters. They have oodles of downforce on those cars, so closely following each other, especially through these sweeping corners here at Euro Speedway Lausitz, is very, very difficult. As we're seeing Bryce Lowe and Ali Ferry coming into turn one.
Oh, how's this going to work out?
Side by side,
squeeze. He's going to have the inside.
Yep, Ali Ferry takes back the position there, but Bryce Lowe is not quite done yet. He may just have to stay behind here through this right-left combination, but you can see he's got that little bit of an edge on Ali Ferry there on corner entry, and now they've got a little bit more of a straight to get a hold of.
But
Bryce Lowe following Ali Ferry.
That was exceptional racecraft by Ferry. I mean, she gave Lowe exactly the room he needed, but she just calmly held the inside, and she's
Oh, a
kept
little bit
the
wide.
advantage over him. No, but she's going to get a good exit.
Yes, yeah, that's the thing about that turn. It goes uphill. You can go a bit wide in the middle, but then straight line the exit to get a good run. Bryce Lowe just having a look there on the straight, and we're seeing a car ahead of them go a bit wide in that turn. That is Mikael Folker there, followed closely by Tobias Rona. Bryce Lowe in the slipstream now of Ali Ferry. He pulls out, has a bit of a look, thinks better of it though. Ali Ferry running wide, a little bit of a slide there. Is there going to be contact? There is. Oh, Ali Ferry in the gravel
trap.
That's
such a shame.
Oh, what a shame. But Bryce Lowe has managed to come away from that with minimal damage as he goes a bit wide.
Let's just have a look on the onboard of Bryce Lowe. Just see whether he's got right hand down a little bit. He's about to go. He's about to straighten up now.
Doesn't look like any physical damage from my end.
No, I think he's got
away with that one.
What about
Ferry? Ferry doesn't seem to have any damage either, so it's fortunate that they've both come away with minimal damage from that.
I think it's a little bit of left hand down actually on Ferry's.
We'll have to see about that, but that is unfortunate.
Small. Oh God! Ferry just holding Alan out.
Out in
she should have
turn
done
one.
what she did with Lowe.
Oh, and now Ferry is getting Nick Newcomb all crossed up to come through this section of turns. It's through that section of turns, that opening section of the track, it's incredibly important to keep the car online, I found when I was doing laps. If you go even the slightest bit offline, that is your lap ruined, basically. So you've got to be very, very exact through that section of the track. But now...
So Folker and Riera side by side going into... such a fast corner.
Yeah, such a fast corner, very long corner
hold on the outside. Here he goes for another go. I don't think he's going to make it stick around the outside here either.
Riera's going to guard the inside there. Oh, Mikael almost going around the outside. He's going to try and hold it. Yeah, what's going on here?
Oh, he's going to do it as well.
Gets a bit crossed up on the exit. So Mikael Folker has moved up into P5.
I was literally just about to say he's wasting time trying to do a move there, but God, maybe he knew something I don't.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes you just got to go for it.
Already the gap, by the way, at the front, 9 seconds. That is
absolutely
crazy.
Incredible.
What I don't believe is how Broughtigam just doesn't have the pace that he had in qualifying. I mean, from pole, he's sliding now everywhere. This is crazy.
I feel
Philip Arcos is going to have him on the next straight.
I feel that perhaps Broughtingham was pushing the car a little bit too hard in those opening laps and ended up overheating the tyres, or maybe he's not quite used to the added weight of the fuel in his car. But either way, he is facing a bit of pressure there from Philip Arcos.
Yeah, and I just also want to mention that the corner they've just gone through, turn 6, which has an awkward curb right in the middle of the road, which is part of some other configuration of the track. They have to cut it, but they can't cut it too much, otherwise they get a cut warning, and if they get 3 of those, they get a drive-through, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but
I think it might be a stop-go, I'm not sure.
Here goes Philip Arcos on Broughtigam. Again, trying the same thing as Folker, who is
but no, this time he's going for the over-under. Over-under from Lazaros Philippakos. He may try and hold it around the outside. No, thinks better of it. Is he going to try and go for the outbraking move here? No. So now Folker is right on the back of these guys. Look at this.
Yeah. Broughtigam's, I mean, he's truly become the cork of this race. I mean, now he's released Ramada, and Ramada's now sort of, sort of 4 or 5 seconds up the road. Who's next? There's a train.
Folker on Philippakos. Getting that slipstream, outbraking into turn 1. Philippakos locks up and makes contact, and Mikael Folker's been turned around.
Oh dear, Riera off as well.
Oh man, that's a real shame. Seems to be the story of the early part of this race, where we were having the potential to see some great battles forming, but they're just ending in these incidents.
Well, the thing is, from the small amount of testing I've done with these cars, the soft tyres one you want to go on. But the thing is, you've got to take care of it because it really starts to. I mean, you can lock up so easily. They don't have ABS to hand, and also the pace. If you push the car, if you overdrive the car at least sort of even 1% over sort of the, I don't know, 85%, 95% mark, you lose incredible amounts of time due to sort of heat build-up and degradation. So it's the clever guys are going to be just cruising, even at this point of the race, just trying to post the most similar lap times, most consistent lap times possible. And the people, I mean, I was watching Breutigam, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that properly, earlier, and he was locking his brakes up a hell of a lot through quite a few corners, and that's sort of a surefire way in these cars to destroy your front tires. And then
of course.
you got to stop at the half an hour mark instead of the 40-minute mark, sort of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm watching people like Bryce Lowe who are just taking it easy, picking up the pieces when when people like Volker and Philippakos have incidents, and these are the clever guys, I think.
Yeah, they
They're
certainly
just
are.
cruising.
Priority number one in these races is to stay out of trouble. The race is 2 hours long, only 15 minutes gone now, but looking back now, P8, 9, and 10, I'm seeing Hinz, Marquez, and Volker in a bit of a battle here. Volker, of course, having to mount a bit of a recovery drive.
Marquez!
Oh, goodness me. And this is what I was talking about. You make one mistake in that opening section of the track, and you are completely compromised. So now, Marquez is going to fall into the clutches of Volker.
But the thing is, well, it's worth watching.
Better of it.
It's worth watching Volker because I haven't raced against him for a while. But when I used to race against him, he was. It wasn't beyond him to get quite a hot head when his race didn't go. The first part of his race didn't go in his favour. So it's worth it to see whether he starts to lock up the tyres even more, get the rear sliding even more as he tries to make up these positions that he's lost.
Hinz going for the late apex there in that turn.
And he goes off. This could be it.
Yeah.
Well held.
Good
drive by the Australian.
Of course, Marquez was there to take advantage of that, and you know who is going to be loving this three-way battle? Matt Strand in that blue car.
Yep. Well spotted.
And
Shallow's not too far behind
seeing
as well.
these guys jostling around. Yeah,
so
they're all
a
losing time.
couple of corks in this GT500 field at the moment.
Yeah, Strand getting a bit slidey over the curb, but he's going to now mount a bit of a challenge on Thomas Hinz down the straight. He will have the Australian slipstream, Matt Strand, the American. Hinz just moving about on the straight once again. Strand going to the inside. Tries the outbreaking maneuver into turn one. Hinz chops him.
Tough stuff at this early point of the race.
Yeah, very much so, especially considering that turn one has that incredibly annoying curb at the apex that can chuck your car right off as we see a car
Marquez
around. Oh, yep. No.
He rejoins, but come on. He gets passed by
goodness.
Shallow.
We've got an incident down the back. Jan Studensky, Sando Donatel, and Lee Allen. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Donatel still hasn't managed to get in front of that GT300 field. What is going on?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but it seems like Lee Allen was caught up in there as well. Maybe some kind of interclass warfare going on there down at the back. You can see, looking at Allen being followed by Studensky, you can see just how much harder the GT300 can push.
Yeah,
it's lighter, and goodness me, almost trying to mount a challenge against the GT500. These classes aren't technically meant to be racing each other, though they are on track at the same time. Generally, the best thing to do, as evidenced by VEC, is for all classes to sort of just make life a bit easier for everybody else. Of course, that doesn't always happen, and of course, a lot of the guys in the GT300 are still learning how multi-class works, so I have to give them the benefit of the doubt there.
I'm going to call it now. The battle of the race, the great battle of the race, is Donadel versus Studensky as they crash into each other.
Oh.
Yeah, the battle of the race, Studensky versus Donadel. GT300 versus GT500.
Yeah, but seriously, that's not really what you want to see. I mean,
no.
you want to see
But
the
it's there.
GT500 make their
Oh.
way around the GT300 nice and cleanly. I'll bet Studenski is absolutely fuming right now because that really
It's
shouldn't
pushing
be
him back into
happening.
Lundvall.
Oh, and Donadell just keeps locking
Donadell
up and
needs-
going off the track.
Yeah, Donadell needs to be. I think he needs to take a tour of the pit lane for some reason or other.
Well, he at the very least needs to take a bit of care when driving around these GT300s.
As we do get a confirmed drive-through for Donadell. Oh well, we shall look forward to the battle between Studenski and Donadell when it gets taken back up again later.
Yeah, a battle that for all intents and purposes shouldn't really be happening, but I digress. We do have a bit of a race to look forward to up the front. Broughtingham, as you said before, continuing to be the cork in the metaphorical bottle that is the GT500 field, third place down. Philippakos and Rona are now currently on his tail as they are coming up to the GT300s. I'm not too sure who that is in the GT300.
Let's have a look. That is the Black Hawk GT300. Let me have a look. That is Gabriel Sturr.
Gabriel Sturr, who is running last at the moment, but still, he's managed to be involved in less incidents than his counterparts in this field. So fair play to him. But he's got some very angry GT500s bearing down on him, so he'll be wanting to have a look in his rearview mirrors at some point soon. Probably not through this section of the track, as the GT300 does have a bit of an edge over the GT500 thanks to the lighter weight with the same amount of downforce. But just wait until they get to the straight and see the GT500's power on by.
Yeah, indeed. We've just reached the, we're 21 minutes into the race now, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing some GT500s pitting for new softs. Considering how hard they've been driving at this early point of the race, and considering, let's not forget this is the first race for all of these guys in this car.
Yes,
in these cars,
it is very much a learning experience for these guys. As we see Sando Donadell taking his drive-through penalty, and Gabriel Sturr has lifted off and let by the GT500s coming up on him.
I think that's Adam Farmer going to hold up Riera out of the final corner. Oh, not too much, not too much.
GT500s go by on the inside. Job done. Very nice. Everyone is happy. Happily ever
on the
after.
Oh, Philippakos inside. He's going to make it. Good.
He's doing it. Philippakos, goodness me. I'm sure it's been said a million times before, but how does Philippakos drive the way he does with a gamepad?
Can we just go on
ridiculous.
board with Philippakos? I just want to see his inputs.
I can see it in his front wheels. There.
I mean, this corner coming up. This is going to be awesome. Yep.
Oh, goodness me.
Straight.
Reminds me of. Yeah, goodness. Reminds me of the old days playing Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2. It does indeed.
All credit to him, though. I mean, awesome drive.
Yeah. He's bloody quick. Quick with a gamepad.
Annoyingly
and,
so.
Yeah, that is to be admired. So that leaves another driver that has left Alex Broughtingham for dead, effectively. Look at the gap that Philippakos has managed to pull out in only 2/3 of a lap. Now Tobias
next
Rona.
Up, Rona.
Yep.
Snap.
Rona is the next driver for whom Alex Broughtingham has a target on his back.
And actually not too far behind, if you look 2 spots back, is Broughtingham is one of the top bods, I think, of Black Hawk Racing, and one of his new VLMS drivers, Bryce Lowe's, not too far behind, so let's see if Lowe starts to show up his boss.
Yeah, true, but Rona now is in the slipstream of Broughtingham. Broughtingham moves to the inside to try and cover. See what happens once they get to the 100 marker.
Does he give him room? Oh, he cuts that.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me. Broughtingham just got crossed up over that apex curbing, but of course,
And they all
Rona had the presence of mind to take a bit of avoiding action before the incident even happened, and now it's a four-way battle once again. Argenis Riera and Bryce Lowe are getting in on this. They are seeing that Browdingham is struggling a bit in this opening stint. They want a piece of that pie.
Well, they all condensed as Browdingham made that little error, and Bryce Lowe very nearly collected the rear of Riera, but very well avoided it.
First GT500 to take a pit stop, Nick Newcomb.
Yeah, let's have a look at him. I just want to have a look at his tyres actually, because we can just about see which tyres he's taking on. He's on the hards S9G. Ooh. What is happening there? So I personally wouldn't recommend hards because they heat up to almost melting level very, very quickly and then don't cool down. So the wear is pretty much the same, I would say, as the softs, and they give you around about, I don't know, 3/4 of the grip. So interesting choice from Newcomb. Nice.
Well, we'll see how it works out for him as we got a car spun at turn 12. I'm not too sure who that was. That was Donadell. Donadell now showing up as retired with suspension damage. So not too sure what happened to him there, but Donadell out of this race.
The first GT300 in the pit, just in sympathy. That's Vakolski. In yes, that rather nifty little purple and yellow GT300. I quite like that livery. It's got this sort of bloom effect on the side, on the logo.
Certainly. Speaking of liveries, we do have a livery contest going on at the moment for Virtual Super GT, so be sure to head on over to the SimRacing.Club forums to cast your vote on what you think is the best looking car in the series. There's a bunch of very nice liveries that have been painted for this championship, and we're looking to give the painters a little bit of recognition. I believe currently leading the GT500 vote is the Team Vires skin, the one that Jakovic is driving. And
it's quite neat that it's leading.
Yeah, certainly leading in the polls and on the track. And I forget who's leading the GT300 skin.
The Ajira car, driven by Tero Dalbug.
Yes, a very, very nice looking car indeed. I've had this thing for blue and orange since I can't remember when. But yeah, it's just such a fantastic color combination that just works, and that is a lovely looking skin that is very active in its design language, and it really fits that Subaru Legacy GT300. Lee Allen now on the pits, taking his Nissan GT500 to a stop.
And by the way, Donadell, what a shame, he's out of the race with suspension damage. So I wonder how that happened.
I did mention that.
Sorry about that. I must have been. My head must have been.
No worries. Yes.
Browdingham still corking this battle, by the way.
Yes. Browdingham with Riera and Lowe at his tailpipes, effectively. Or are they? I don't know where the tailpipes are on these GT500s.
Just behind the front. You mean the exhaust pipes?
Yes.
Just behind the front wheels.
I see. So let me rephrase that. Argenis Riera and Bryce Lowe are now bearing down on Alex Browdingham's diffuser. Yes.
Correct. Yeah, I just want to have a quick look at the lap times that the GT300s have been doing. So Karoo has a pretty nice lead at the moment, but Studensky actually isn't too far in front of Lundvall. And if I just have a look at his last lap time, it was a 1:48.9 compared to Lundvall's 1:48.1. So that looks like it could be a little bit of a battle emerging there. Lundvall's suddenly not a slow driver.
Guys. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on those guys definitely as a battle to watch. This race continues on. .47.0, I'm hearing.
Yeah, that last lap time was from Lundvall. It was a 46 8.
Ooh, wow.
So compared to
really ramping it up here.
Studensky's 47.0. So the pace seems to be ebbing and flowing. I wonder whether the temperatures on the track is changing or something like that. Of course, we do have live weather, which means that the weather plugin used is being used for this server on R52, and it's getting weather live from the actual track in its geographic location. So this is the weather you would see if you were at the track itself in real life.
Yes, indeed. A very, very nifty plugin. It just increases the realism of these sims that we spend our time on. Oh, I'm looking at the body language of Studensky's car. Sorry, I'm noticing he is locking the brakes a bit in the braking zones compared to Lundvall, who's keeping it a bit smooth.
Yeah, it looks like Studensky's slightly starting to buckle a little bit, whereas Lundvall's keeping a bit more of a cool head. But as they get closer, let's see.
In other news, Riera's gotten by Broughtingham, and Bryce Lowe is now jetted by Broughtingham in the braking zone.
Very nice.
And Broughtingham still struggling. Mikhail Fulcher on. Rona's left the race.
Oh dear, that must
Tobias
be
Rona out of the race.
Yeah, I don't see any reason for that. So that must be an internet problem for him. That's a shame. It was a quick car.
Oh, Broughtingham still sliding around, and that's going to leave the door wide open for Fulcher to try and go round the outside. No,
so is this round 2?
He has got a bit of a run.
Fulcher was Philippakos when they had that incident earlier. Sorry.
Well, we shall see how this goes. Broughtingham keeping it to the inside, and he makes contact with Fulcher and Broughtingham around.
Dear. This race is not going his way.
No, certainly not, especially after starting pole. That is a real shame. Whoa!
Well.
Goodness me. Broughtingham has to take
They're all going
action.
off. What's happening?
Oh, goodness. I'm not quite sure what to make of all of that. So that's Marquez, Shallow, no one else involved in that?
Oh my God, look. Studensky off as well. Lundvall's just making it through. Oh,
goodness me. And that's as the GT500 cars are going through.
Suddenly appeared on the track or something?
Goodness me. That's the thing. Like, all this stuff tends to happen within the space of a few seconds, doesn't it? So that is...
Jesus Christ.
That's Linus Lundvall promoted to second in the GT300 class after all of that. Tero Dahlberg now in third place, and Jan Studensky in fourth.
All that happened while I was just about to talk about how amazingly consistent Jakovic has been. I mean, all his laps have been sub 140 so far. I mean, other than his first, which is had the slower start off the line, but unbelievable pace, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff from Jakovic there. Like he stamped his authority on this race right away in the braking zone for turn 1, and he just hasn't let up since.
Indeed. I'm just looking at the occasional people who don't get a lap time posted, and that means they've made a cut. So Matt Strand didn't get away with that lap time, so they're starting to rack up a few warnings here, and if they're not careful, they might find themselves having a little stop and go in the pit lane.
Yeah, certainly. Got a bit of a battle forming on track now for position 11 between Thierry Chalot and Hugo Marquez.
Of course, they've just spun off.
Yes.
A lap or two
ago. Yeah, they've had to get their wits about them and prepare for take 2. Coming down the back straight into the second section of the infield of the Euro Speedway Lausitz.
And that's where you've got to be really careful when you're following someone and you can't see the apex. And if you just go a little bit too much to the left, you get a cut penalty. You get a cut warning. So really, it's really difficult to follow so closely through there. I mean, if it was me, I would try to follow at a reasonable distance, like half a second behind or something like that, and wait for the pit straight, because that's the easiest place to do it.
Oh, Shallow going for the late apex there, keeping his car in the middle of the road for the majority of that brief set of racetrack, and Marquez almost making contact with him as they are coming up to Broughtingham in front of them. And
who's just
Broughtingham...
got a cut warning on this lap,
Oh, no.
as has Hint.
Oh, Tobias Rona is back. He has rejoined the race. That must have been a connection issue there for Rona.
Yeah, as I said, I think it's probably his internet connection.
Well, that battle between Marquez and Shallow hasn't really amounted to much so far. Seems like Shallow has managed to get a bit of a gap as he goes a bit too deep in his pursuit of Jan and goes wide. But he's still right on the back of Marquez, though. So these guys are pretty much falling over themselves at the moment. It's a question of who does it the least at the moment as they're trying to make their way past this GT300 of Jan Studenski. Blasting by him on the straight, no problem for Thierry Shallow. Oh, and I'm seeing a bit of something happening up ahead of them. Looked like Ali Ferry and Broughtingham in the midst of is that Lundvall? That's Lundvall there.
Yeah,
in the GT300.
Ferry's going very slowly. I wonder if she's got damage.
Oh,
she's pulling right off to the side.
Yeah, it looks like she might. Looks like she's fighting the steering of that GT500 there. We see the shadow of the helicopter passing over. That is a real shame, though. They did have a little bit of a coming together in that second part of the infield. I'm
just having a look at the replay, and actually Ferry just turned Lundvall around, and then he pushed Lundvall, then spun straight into Broughtingham. So yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate from Ferry. Caused a little bit of a pile-up. It's all going on this race, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's turning out that a track like Euro Speedway Lausitz, where passing opportunities are few and far between, it is a bit difficult for these multi-class racers to step around each other without any form of major incident happening as Shallow makes his way past Broughtingham, but Broughtingham isn't having too much of it. I think I saw Lundvall pulling into the pits there.
He is.
Just
I'm just
before.
watching him. He's had to reverse, but he can't find his spot. He's all flustered. That's a shame. He was second, wasn't he?
Yeah, Lundvall was doing very, very well. Fortunately, in these races, your race can go from perfect to horrifying in the blink of an eye.
Yeah. Let me just hang on. Djakovic is now second, so let me just see if he's had a little bit of a pit stop.
I would assume he must have, because his car doesn't look too damaged. Ramada is now leading the race, overtaking a GT300. And a drive-through penalty has been assigned to Ali Ferry by the live steward for that incident with Lundvall.
Yeah, so Djakovic did have a pit stop. I don't think he got any damage. It was just something normal. So expect him right back up at the front. Yeah, the
good old routine. Have a drink and put new shoes on.
Indeed. Just looking at the gap between Riera and Lowe, which seems to have I don't know, closed in a little bit. Let me have a look at the times. So Lowe's last lap time was a 1:41.1, 1:41.2, and Riera's was a 1:41.8. So maybe something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah,
keep an eye on those
that's a
guys.
battle for the podium.
It is indeed. Meanwhile, looking behind them, Mikhail Folker. What a race he's had so far. He's definitely got the pace to be ahead of these guys, but
I'm impressed he's fought his way back up.
Yeah, the issue is he's had to do it so many times in a row. It seems like every time he's gotten into a good position, something has happened and he's had to fight his way back up again.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just seeing Broughtingham is in the pits now, and it's be interesting because he will almost certainly have had damage from one of the many incidents that he's had. So whether he repairs that will be interesting. I think he's been there for possibly a little longer than the normal tyres and fuel kind of time, so maybe he is. Maybe he was struggling against that damage. was
And we
just
just saw
interesting.
Lundvall
I don't know whether
exiting the pits
this.
ahead of him. Sorry.
I don't know whether this is coming up on the stream or yeah, Lundvall. God, Jesus Christ, that was a long stop, wasn't it? I don't know whether this is coming up on the stream, but when I look at Broadgam's car, he's got quite a dark skin, and it looks like the dirt build-up that R-Factor 2 implemented quite recently has sort of inverted into this sort of like white snow effect on the front of the car.
Oh dear.
If you look, I mean, it's quite a nice effect. I suppose there could be white things on the track, but yeah, it's not. I mean, I suppose in one way it's nice to know that it is actually there, the dirt build-up thing, and it is working as we go through the
Yes,
race.
indeed.
As Philip
Quickly from the
Arcos and
broadcast
Strand
chat.
pits.
Sorry,
Yep,
Ed.
Sorry, go on.
From the broadcast chat, we do have a little bit of news from Tobias Rona. Apparently, his game crashed because of his antivirus software. That's a bit of a shame. Remember to turn that off when you're playing games, kids. That's your lesson for the day.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, of course. Despite modern antivirus softwares being a lot better than they were years ago, occasionally you still have incidents like that happen. So take care with that sort of thing. Unfortunately, Tobias Rona was on the receiving end of one of those glitches.
Oh well, try your best for the next one.
Yeah, certainly. That's the best way to look at it, isn't it?
So the gap now between Low and Riera is, or sorry, I should say Riera and Low is something like, it's under a second now. Something like 7/10, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's the closest thing I can see. I'll just have a quick scan through the GT300s.
It's looking like Lee Allen is a DNF. Unfortunately, just scrolled down and saw that.
Yeah, the GT300s seem to be quite split up at the moment, so not really much to see there other than obviously the beautiful liveries that these people have been making.
Yeah,
but yes,
certainly.
No, there's big gap between first and second from what I can see, and then yeah, even more laps. I mean, Lundvall is now
a
couple of laps behind, so that is a real shame.
The gap between Carew and Dahlberg, just visually, it looks to be in excess of 3/4 of a lap. So Carew just absolutely monstering this field at the moment.
Yeah, actually, oddly, we get a little bit of a better idea of the gaps between each car from just having a little look at the stream on the side. And I can see that there is around about a 10-second gap actually between Carew and Dahlberg, it seems. No. Sorry, about a 26-second gap. Sorry, I slightly got that wrong. Yes, right. A 26-second gap. So not far off.
I see.
Yeah, as that gap between third and fourth keeps closing just ever so slightly.
Yeah, it's now at about 6/10 now. I've seen it decreasing by a 1/10 per sector or thereabouts. This will be something to watch in a few moments, or something to watch right now. We're seeing the gap physically get smaller. Argenis Riera will be looking in his rearview mirrors and thinking, oh dear, this is going to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is he hasn't really got much to focus on ahead of him, because the next guy up the road is Jakovic, who is all of 15 seconds or so up the road, and he's already made his pit stop. Bear in mind, these guys haven't made their pit stop yet, which is, I mean, maybe it'll work to their favour, because maybe they'll do, half or less as many pit stops than Jakovic. Still, their pace will be dropping off, and it's very nice for Lowe because he's got a target right on the back of that yellow Nissan ahead of him.
Certainly has, but he's also got a little bit of aero push as well, I would think, especially through the faster corners. Riera would have the advantage of clear air, which in cars as aero-dependent as these, it's definitely something that you desire, having bit of a clear track ahead of you, but it doesn't seem to be a problem for Bryce Lowe. He's now right on the back of Riera.
Is this going to be a move?
I
don't
don't
know if
think
it's
so. Too far
close
back.
enough.
Too far back.
I think he might
Nah.
at least try to spook him a little bit.
Probably.
Let's
we might
see.
see him make
What
a
sort of
little bit of a
driver is
move.
Bryce Lowe?
Oh, good question. I've never heard of the guy. This is the first time I've ever seen him on track. But we're getting a bit of a lesson here at the moment.
Indeed. Very
As
nice.
we see Thomas Hins coming into the pits.
Just noticing the he's painted his helmet in Bryce Lowe's car. Very nice cyan. Whereas other people, I think, seem to keep the stock helmet colour.
Oh yeah, true.
Slightly throwaway, but there you go.
Very striking helmet there. And now Bryce Lowe, the South African, right on the tail of Riera coming into the second half of the lap. I wonder if we'll see a move coming into turn 1 on this next lap from Bryce Lowe.
Oh, he's locking his brakes.
Hmm.
Don't want to be doing that. Just want to be the cool and collected one when you're chasing.
Yeah, certainly, but nonetheless, they will be coming up towards a pit stop now, so I suppose it's a bit less of a problem than it would be at the start of a sim, for example.
I'll tell you what they're also coming up towards is a whole bunch of GT300s.
Yes, here we go. This could be the decider for this battle.
Yeah, right where you
Lowe
don't want
taking
it.
a bit of a wider line than Riera. Oh, here we go.
It's got to be a move. Come on.
Depends on how courageous Bryce Lowe is on the brakes. The GT300 moves aside.
It seemed Riera got slightly better traction out of that final complex. So I think that
Yes,
if he
indeed.
just keeps on doing that, that's all that he needs, just to keep Lowe at bay.
Yep. Oh, goodness me. And just behind them, Vakulski had a front row seat to... Is that Broughtingham? That's Broughtingham having more issues keeping that car settled.
Such a shame that guy's race.
Yeah, it is.
The car that was on pole, now in 12th.
Oh, well.
A bit of a mighty journey back up to the lead lap, I think.
It is. But that's racing sometimes. Of course, Broughtingham is not... it seems that Broughtingham is gaining on...
well, he would be.
He's a lap
tyres.
down. He's a lap down, sorry.
He is a lap down, but he's also got new tyres.
He has. The question
is incredible between used and new tyres for these cars especially. I mean, you get the
you can see it.
GTE cars in, and even, the prototypes, I suppose, would be more similar maybe in the VEC. You can still lap pretty consistently. I mean, I'm blown away by how consistent Jakovic has been on these tyres. I have no idea how he's managed to do that. Because in my testing, the drop off has been crazy. Like 0.3 after the first lap or something.
He must have a very finely tuned setup, Jakovic.
Up to his old tricks.
Yeah, true.
Wily old Bosnian. Almost said Serb. just got myself out of a bit of trouble. As Falco pits.
Oh, yeah.
So, is he going to try and go for the undercut? Let's keep an eye on that.
Yes.
Because he wasn't too far behind these guys.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that goes. So, the field is shuffling around now.
I am flabbergasted that Ramada is able to be out this. I mean, I suppose it's the same for the other guys, but not so much because they've obviously been a little off the pace of the front guys. But, considering that Jakovic came out, 15 seconds behind? Was it a little bit more behind Ramada?
Yeah.
Ramada has still managed to keep the gap. I mean, it's just over 10 seconds now. What are Ramada's lap times? Very consistent again. Almost all mid 140s.
Yeah, very good
Excellent
to see
drive
from Ramada. Yes. And to keep doing that so late into the life of these tyres, surely he'll be pitting soon.
You would think so. I mean, I was kind of If I was
Unless
doing
he's
this race,
decided to go for the one stop.
well, yeah. I mean, I just wouldn't have thought it was possible. If it was me, I'd have kept it safe and done 3 40-minute stints. But I mean, you know, who can fault the guy when he's doing this sort of job?
Yeah, certainly.
Now the gap's just peaked under 10 seconds now.
Riera and Lowe, meanwhile, spread out a little bit once again.
Yeah. Also, just something to just keep in your mind for the next few laps. Philippakos has obviously done his pit stop, and he's looking to make his way back up the field. His teammate's the next car in front of him, so considering the sort of up and down
pitting.
race that Ferry's had, is Ferry pitting?
Yep,
Yes,
Ferry
she
just
is,
went into the
yes.
pit lane. Yep.
Well, that was convenient, wasn't it?
Yes, so no intra-team controversy there.
Oh, I love
Ali
that
Ferry
livery.
locks her brakes coming into the pit lane, but that's fine. She's not going to need these tyres anymore.
Indeed. 8 years of Atlantic Motorsport, it says on the back of that car. Well done.
Very nice.
Of course,
Ramada
Atlantic are...
going past Adam Farmer.
Yep. I was just going to say, of course, Atlantic are one of the bigger teams in the VEC. So it's nice to see some of these teams. I mean, including Virus and well, there's quite a few, isn't there? There's Kyushu, I think, who've well, I don't know if they're in the VEC right now, but they have been in the past. So it's nice to see some of these teams kind of overlapping into other series that SimRacing.Club is doing.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's always good to see teams going into multiple disciplines. Of course, sim racing, by its very nature, is multidisciplinary. You have the ability to drive almost any car on any track you wish, so why not take advantage of that?
The thing is, I keep on going back to this battle with Riera and Lowe. It's just...
Yeah, I do too.
It's so frustrating. Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
They're so close.
Yeah.
Someone do something, please.
Yeah, I mean, Lowe seems to be gaining on Riera whenever we go back to him, but he just isn't able to make that decisive move and get past him. Not at the moment, anyway. Maybe he's just waiting until the pit stops, or maybe both of them are thinking about the pit stop undercut, and they're just waiting to see who blinks first.
Well, if we think that Lowe is faster than Riera, which I mean, it would seem like that, considering how whenever Lowe falls back a little bit, he catches straight back up. How is... What you've got to think about is how would he be following Riera to his advantage? Because especially with these cars, you're going to get quite a bit of understeer because you get so much. They've got so much aero, and when you kind of when you stall the aero in these cars, you get it's not good. You lose a lot of traction, a lot of grip. So
Yeah.
what the advantage of waiting like this would be is well, remains to be seen.
Yeah, very true. You do have a very good point there, Ed. I mean, if I were Low, I would have pitted a few laps ago. But
Yeah.
well, I mean, it's getting close to the hour mark. I think they might be going for the one stopper.
Well, I mean, all
Like,
credit to them if they can.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, like,
let me have a look at their
but
lap
seriously,
times.
it's just ticked over 53 minutes of racing. We are now closer to the hour mark than we were to the 40-minute mark. So, at this point, the only logical conclusion is that everyone out on track at the moment who hasn't pitted yet is going to go for the one stopper, as we see Thierry Chalot coming to a stop in his pit bay.
Nose fitting very neatly underneath that Karcher sign. Yeah, I just wanted to also mention that since we last spoke about the GT300s, Dahlberg has caught Carew up to the tune of about 5 or 6 seconds, I think. Obviously, I have to wait until the stream shows the individual gaps again. But yeah, I think let me just just give it a couple of seconds, see if it changes. Well, the lap times I can tell you between Karu and Dahlberg. Karu has just done a 1:47.9, and Dahlberg has just gone about a second quicker than that. So it's 20 seconds, 20 odd seconds, but or actually it's about 22, 23 seconds. But we've still got an hour left to go, and that's not undoable by any means, especially if you're going a second a lap faster.
Yeah, certainly not. I guess the question on Dahlberg's mind is how much of that usable pace from the tyres do I use at once? Because remember, if you do push too hard, you're going to run out of pace very, very quickly. So you might want to keep an eye on that.
You can push these GT300s a little harder than the GT500s. The rear is a lot more stable, and they've got... I mean, they just simply don't have the power to unsettle the car as much as the GT500s. So,
Studienski pits?
Indeed he does. Let's see whether that puts him at least reasonably back in the league of Lundvall. I doubt it.
I just want to draw your attention to the gap up the front. Jakovic has decreased the gap from himself to Pedro Ramada to under 5 seconds. Yes, indeed.
Well, that will be an interesting one. I mean, this is the culmination of two different strategies, isn't it? So Jakovic has gone for the all-out pace and 3 stints, as opposed to Ramada, slightly more. You're going to have to be more conservative with the tyres, but only 1 stop, and the lap times between them is about a second difference generally. Although, yeah, so Ramada's been doing. I mean, there's the occasional mid 41, but they're mostly in the 140s, and Jakovic. Let's see what his times are after the pit stop. Yeah, straight back in the 39s pretty much every single lap. And low 39s as well. Low to, I mean, the occasional high 39, but mostly low. So it's 1.5, 2 seconds per lap difference. But when is Jakovic going to have to stop again?
Yeah, that's it. And how much time is lost in a pit stop is the other deciding factor. So eyes will be on Ramada, Riera, Lowe. Who else hasn't pitted yet? Has Marquez pitted?
I don't think he has. I think he's had a few.
No, he hasn't.
Race direction confirms he hasn't, but he has. Obviously, I think what might have confused us is he's had quite a few spins.
Yes.
So yes, he's slightly out of sequence due to that. But yeah, I think there are maybe 3 or 4 up in the lead lap who haven't pitted yet.
Philippakos has pitted.
He has indeed, as has Volker, who isn't that far behind. What is it? Maybe 8 seconds, something like that. So what's the pace between Volker and Philippakos? So Volker is doing high 39s at the moment. So I'd say he's probably on a similar strategy to, well, I suppose everyone who's pitted so far, most people who've pitted so far are on a similar strategy to Jakovic, but he's not quite got the same sort of pace. High 39s, the occasional high 140 actually.
He's got a second on Philippakos at the moment in terms of time, says Volker. Philippakos's last timed lap was a 40.992, but
right.
he did make a cut on that lap just past. His first cut of the race, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
Again, this guy's using a gamepad. What the hell?
Yeah, it's a deep source of embarrassment for the rest of us. I've been trying to start a Kickstarter to get him a wheel so that he can spare us this embarrassment.
A GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Help my mate go to the next level.
Yeah. Get him off that damn gamepad.
Ramada pits.
Here we
go.
So
Ramada going into the pit lane, and Jakovic is going to go sailing on by. The gap between them had been about 1.6 seconds at the time that Ramada pitted, but Ramada comes to a stop in his pit bay as Jakovic goes sailing by on the start-finish straight and resumes the lead of this race.
Around about the hour mark as well.
Oh, and Lowe's gotten past Riera and all of that.
Oh, really? Let me have a look at that.
Don't know what happened there. Oh, and Riera's going into the pits. Here we go. This is it. Lowe's gotten past Riera, and Riera's thought, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go for the pit stop, hopefully get a bit of undercut on Lowe so I can retain my position. We'll see what happens in the next lap. Is Lowe going to come in at the end of this lap?
I've got to rewind quite a long way to see that happen. So that was the first corner. So they were alongside right up until the braking point. Lowe took a very, very inside line, but he gave him lots of room. It was just a very clean pass. And I think Riera's just said, right, I've had enough of that. Coming in, new boots, please.
Oh no, we've got another retirement. Matt Strand. Very unfortunate, going up with suspension damage. So that was a contact incident that left Strand out of this race. Whether it was contact with a wall or another car, I am not sure.
Yeah. So there is the gap. Djakovic, Ramada, 41.5 seconds.
Marquez pits as well. He's currently in his pit bay.
Yep. So the question is, where does Lowe come out in all of this? Riera's come out. Oh, what is it? Around about. Oh, I'll have to see what the real gap is after he's finished this lap. But he's he's just in front of Volker. So that is definitely one to watch.
It definitely is, and I've got my eyes trained on Lowe at the moment to see if he makes his way into the pits.
Yep, you stay there. I'm going to keep on this battle.
Okay, so Lowe has not pitted, so let's take a good look at this. Oh,
yeah,
that's a ballsy place to pull a move. It was Volker made it work.
Very fair driving by Riera. He didn't try to sort of hold him too tight into the corner. I think he's driving smartly.
Yeah, he is.
His outlap, he doesn't want to go and bugger his tyres up. He doesn't want to go and lock up or overheat them. He wants to nicely heat the tyres up progressively rather than sort of getting involved straight away with sort of a battle with Volker. He's already heated up his tyres, of course.
You also got to remember that, you've also got to remember that Riera's tyres being cold full stop, it means there's less grip available to him anyway, so it makes more sense to just let Volker by and continue on. But they're coming up to a couple of GT300s now.
Yeah, and on the topic of GT300, Dahlberg hasn't actually closed the gap all that much. It's sort of stayed around that 22-second mark. That's a bit disappointing. I was looking forward to a bit of a GT300 battle. And actually, if we look at the GT300 gaps, there really isn't anyone who's on the same lap who's battling.
No! Oh, I think that was Volker turning Vokolsky around.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Volker just went for the move at turn 1 after passing.
He tried to get 2 in 1 and he locked up.
Yeah, he did.
Oh dear. Well,
that's a shame.
There's the hot-headedness, I'm afraid. But I suppose it was worth
gave Vokolsky a right whack and turned him round, which is unfortunate.
That was the 3rd place GT300.
Yeah, well, Vokolsky still. Oh no! I think did he turn Lundvall around?
No, it was Vokolsky.
No, it was Vokolsky.
That's why I said 2 into 1, because he overtook Lundvall and then tried to have a go at Vokolsky. But I think he must have just kind of got distracted by the GT300s, missed his braking point, and it showed by the lockup. So I think it's unfortunate. He probably might get a drive through or something like that, but I doubt any of these are intentional. Yes, indeed.
Yep, there we go.
Pits. Let's watch this. Where does he come out in comparison to Riera? You would expect Riera to have. Oh, let's take your bets. I'd say 5 seconds on Lowe, considering
we'll see
how old Lowe's tyres were and how many more laps he's done. 3, 2, 3, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Riera's just exited turn 13. He's coming down the start-finish straight, but Lowe is rolling. He's coming out of the pits, crosses the pit exit line, and now he is going to re-enter the racetrack. Wow, way ahead of Riera.
Excellent stuff.
Wow.
I'm going to have a look at this to see. So actually, Lowe's final few lap times, 141.9, 142.8, 142.7, they weren't all that great. But if you have a look at Riera's lap times, when he needed to do the sort of 139s and 140s and stuff like that, he wasn't. He did he did a couple of laps after he pitted, and the first obviously was the slow one because it included the pit stop, but the second was only a 141.9, which pretty much matched Lowe, his first of his final laps. So he didn't use the tyres when he needed to. But let's see if the gap closes now. You would think that
meanwhile,
Lowe has an advantage because he's got newer tyres, but let's see.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Boris Vikolsky pitting for the damage from Folker's contact with him, for which he has been given a drive-through penalty. Vikolsky pulls out of his pit bay, and wow, it's looking like a GT300 party in the pit lane at the moment. Jan Studenski coming in and making a stop, and Tero Dahlberg is making his way down pit lane.
Onto his new attack of Carew. Let's hope he can close that gap a little bit more this time.
Well, he's going to have his work cut out for him because Carew is quite a bit ahead. He's just coming into the final sector of the track now. And
as
Folker comes into the pits.
His drive-through.
So now Niki Jakovic, having resumed the lead of this race, has a 49.2 second lead over Pedro Ramada, who himself is coming up to a GT300 at an alarming rate of speed. Who is that? That is
Gabriel
Sturr, who
the Black Hawk
in
car.
all of this, Gabriel Sturr, I have to say, major kudos to him. He started in last place, but he is by no means last now. He has managed to keep it nice and clean and stay out of trouble, and it's paying dividends for him. He's currently running in third place in GT300.
Well, this is exactly what we said at the beginning. It's a race of attrition, and whoever's the neatest, the tidiest, almost the least aggressive, I suppose, wins. And then, as soon as I say that, I realise, look who's in the lead. Someone who's been driving extremely aggressively on his tyres, but obviously has kept it very, very clean. Yeah,
that's Niki.
He's done a very good race.
He's just one of those guys who goes 10 tenths the whole way and doesn't care about anything else, I suppose. Fair play to him. He is in the lead of this race by nearly a minute.
So,
meanwhile,
where are the gaps? Well, there seems to be about a slightly under 2 second gap between Lowe and Riera. So let me just have a look at the lap times. Lowe's last lap time was a 1:43, not a bad one for your first outing after the pits, and Riera's was 1:39.9. So a little bit faster. It's sort of the opposite to how they were before. Riera seems to be sort of edging the gap a little bit closer. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if they're together in a couple of laps.
Yeah, well, they have got some GT300 traffic ahead of him as Carew comes into the pits. So that's your GT300 leader in the pits at the moment, getting his tyres changed. Tero Dahlberg now coming into the last sector of the circuit. We'll see how this turns out. I wonder what the gap is going to be.
One hell of a long stint.
Yeah, certainly was.
Hour
68
and 8
minutes.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible stuff from Miguel Santiago Carew.
We've just heard that they might be doing a driver swap in that leading GT300 car. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll see that. Greg Metcalf. Here he goes.
So that is a new driver. Tero Dahlberg is coming up to Metcalf now. Metcalf coming out of the pits, having taken over the United Races team car.
So that's
and there we go.
that's how much more a driver swap costs you, apparently.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Greg
20 seconds
Metcalf
odd.
will now have his work cut out for him. He's going to be chasing down Tero Dahlberg in the midst of these GT500s who are really looking to get past him. Who is that? That's Riera, coming past him now, who is himself chasing down Bryce Lowe, making his way past Tero Dahlberg there, your new GT300 leader.
Yeah. And that pass that Lowe did on Dahlberg is actually going to work out very nicely for him, because Dahlberg's just going to get in well, is he actually? It looks like Riera's dropped back a little bit. Yeah, I thought Dahlberg would get in Riera's way a little bit there, but Riera seemed to have done it himself.
Well, yeah, of course, but you may also need to consider the fact that Riera might just be backing off a little bit to try and maybe pass Dahlberg in a more convenient place, such as here in the braking zone for the final sector, as Dahlberg gains on him a little under brakes. However, Riera is able to get past. See, that's one of the things about being a top-class driver in endurance racing, and by top class I mean the fastest class on the track. That's one thing about being a fastest class driver that not many people seem to get. There's a lot of calculation going on in your head when you're going through traffic. You need to pick your battles. And from my time driving the Magenta Warriors LMP1 in VEC, as we see Riera, look at that, he just backed off into turn 1, did the right thing. No point in trying to go for a move that isn't going to work anyway. And sometimes, if the slower class car goes wide, you go for it, as he did just then. Very smart driving there from Argenis Riera, and that is what brings you success as a top class driver in multi-class racing.
Just want to bring your attention to Philip Parkos, just simply because I wanted to see where the Lowe and Riera were catching him up a little bit. He's just started cutting a bit, so I wonder whether... I mean, he's got an enormous gap in front of him to Ramada, 49 seconds odd. So let me just have a look at Lowe's lap times. Last lap time was a 1:41.1, and last lap time from Philip Parkos was a cut, I think.
Oh.
But the one before that was a 1:41.2. So they're roughly running at the same pace at the moment. But I don't know if this is reaching a little bit, but maybe Philip Parkos is pushing a little bit harder, a little bit more desperate. Wants to sort of, he's seeing that there's an enormous gap in front of him, and he wants to sort of try and make it up somehow. I mean, how did he lose out so much? I suppose he had a little bit of an incident at one point early on in the race. There was that pass between him and Volker, where Volker, I think, slightly nudged him off a little bit. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember.
In the midst of all of the carnage of the early stage of this race, it's difficult to pick exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I may have to take a look at the replay afterwards to see how that went, but Bryce Lowe now on the back of Ferry.
It was 8 seconds actually when I first started talking about the gap between Philip Parkos and Lowe, and now it is it was 6.5, and the gaps are fluctuating in that odd way that they do in R-Factor 2, but it was down at 6.
Oh, getting some word from the broadcast director.
Yeah.
Shallow and Hins in a very, very close battle here at the moment.
And we saw in the chat before the race that Hins was saying he was rather tired. And of course, being in Australia, I think that the timing is very different to most of these European drivers. So good on him for still keeping in it. I mean, what time is he? Is he roughly in your kind of time zone?
No. We're on opposite sides of the country. I think Thomas is in Victoria. I'm in Western Australia. He's three hours ahead of me. It's 9:44 p.m. at the moment for me, so it's nearly 1 a.m. for him.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, look. On the bright side, it's a hell of a lot better than the European racing that starts at like 7 p.m. GMT. That's like 4 a.m. for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can understand now why Australian and if we had any Japanese drivers are so sought after for the longer races in the
Oh yeah.
endurance series.
Yeah, certainly. That was one of the main reasons I was originally brought on by Magenta as a VEC driver last year.
Oh, I'm sure because you're quick as well. Don't you do yourself down, Reese?
No. Let's not make this all about me. as we
Oh,
see, Hinz going a bit wide in turn one, Shallow himself going wide in a couple of corners. So very hard this
just
first sector of the track.
Philippakos has pitted. We might have just missed that. So now
Ooh.
Lowe is in third, Riera is in fourth, and Philippakos is fifth.
Oh, indeed.
So that is with 45 minutes left to go. You'd assume that this is Philippakos' last stop, where now he's got to catch up Riera and Lowe just on merit of his pace. So we must watch that. Let's see the gap now. It is almost 20 seconds, 19.8 seconds between Riera and Philippakos. And then there's a further 5 seconds between Lowe and Riera. So a bit of work for Philippakos to do.
Yeah, certainly, and he's on the same sort of strategy as Djakovic is. So keep an eye on Djakovic in the next 5 or so minutes to see if he makes his final pit stop.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that comes in. But the thing is, I mean, I think it's just too much for Ramada's. Djakovic's pace is too much for Ramada's strategy to work.
Yeah.
Maybe Ramada will get in front of him when Djakovic pits, but the pace on that. Oh, as Philippakos goes a little bit wide through the first corner. But yeah, Ramada might be able to keep him behind for a few laps, but there's no stopping the Djakovic train once it gets rolling out of the pits.
Yeah.
Unless
true that.
Unless the one sort of Achilles heel that Djakovic has, he can be a bit reckless sometimes. In my experience,
this is true. This is also true.
Yeah. So as long as Djakovic doesn't bin it, I'd say he's almost got it in the bag. Don't want to curse him, but there you go.
Yeah. No commentators curse here. Touch wood and all that.
Yep.
So I'm keeping my eyes trained on Djakovic to see if he decides to go to the left instead of the right in the third last turn of the lap.
Just want to bring your attention to, wow, we've got a GT300 battle finally between Farmer and Studensky. So let's have a look at that.
Yeah, certainly. I'm always up for a nice GT300 battle.
It's the Mad Max car. So that, I mean, Studensky's pace was actually it was pretty good at the beginning of the race. It was, he was only just being caught by Lundvall a little bit, so you'd expect him to, yeah, he is really steaming up to the back of Farmer. Oh, as he goes a little bit wide, but there you go. And they're coming up on the back of, I think it's Stir. So actually Stir, this is a 3-way battle.
Oh, here we go.
Interesting.
This is what we've been waiting all race for. Proper battle between these GT300 cars. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out.
Here we go.
As we see Shallow has come into the pits. Sorry, just a little bit of an aside, but right back to this GT300 battle. They are separated by only about 2 seconds as they cross the line. I'm just eyeballing that.
Actually, also, would you believe it? But Lundvall is on the same lap as these guys, and probably about 30 seconds behind. But if they're all going to get close like this and hold each other up, I wouldn't factor him out of it.
Yeah, certainly. We'll see what happens here as Studensky tries to go up the inside of Farmer on the exit of the turn there. Very, very close. Is he going to try and go for the move here at the end of the straight? He pulls out. He's going to have a look.
He's going to do it.
He's definitely going to have a look. Oh, very, very close. So close to turning Farmer around, but had the presence of mind
as well. So.
Oh, yes. look at the launch that Studensky got out of that turn. He's going to go right by Adam Farmer on the straight here, but this is a very long, very sweeping, very flat turn. I wonder if Farmer will be able to hold it round the outside. He tried to give it a go, but unfortunately he was not on the rubber.
Going to have him for good measure.
Oh, wow.
But how Studentsky got the traction off that AstroTurf, I don't know.
Yeah, that is crazy. I find that's something that you can do in these cars if you manage to get the timing of your throttle just right. Studentsky, I think it was just a case of throwing caution to the wind. I can put the foot down. # never lift. I can do this.
Yeah. So let's see what Studentsky can do against Stur.
Oh yeah, Stur's gone wide to
under a second
to let Bradigan by. Oh, as we see a GT500 weaving through them.
Oh okay, yeah, it's almost no contest.
Yeah.
Studentsky's just steaming up to the back of him.
Yeah, look at this. Look at how much mid-corner grip he has. You can physically see the gap getting smaller. This is incredible stuff.
I mean, I think we're possibly seeing, who with their practice beforehand is taking advantage of just the adhesion levels that these cars have.
Yeah.
I think, from looking at Stur's onboard, I don't think he's pushing the car hard enough. I think he's being a little bit too conservative. And great, you finish the race that way. But I think Studentsky's just able to get a bit more grip out of that car because it can do it. And maybe Stur's not quite aware of that.
Yeah, certainly can. Let's see what Studentsky can do out of here. Slams the throttle down, a little bit of oversteer. He's going to have a tiny little bit of a run on Gabriel Stur coming into the next turn, but I think he's too far back to try and attempt to pass. He's going to have to wait through this seemingly never-ending right-hander. Late apex it, get on the throttle, use the car's downforce to your advantage.
This is going to be a move, or at least
look out.
Getting in his head.
Pulling out. Oh, no. Yeah, save it for the pit straight. Or alternatively, you can just try and get by him here. That works as well. Over, under, through here. Try and fire it up the inside through here. A little bit of a lock up there from Gabriel Stur. But Jan Studentsky is going to stay behind. Oh, okay. That's a bit odd. Oh, Studentsky.
That's going to put him out of the running. Let me just... you carry on with the GT300s.
Yep, of course, the GT300 battle. Heating up quite a bit here. We might see a move from Studentsky to turn 1, brouting him into the pits as well. I'm just noting on my timing screens. Studentsky, again, trying to go for the move. Oh, he's going to try and go for a move on the exit. They make contact just slightly, but Studentsky manages to get by Gabriel Stur on the exit of turn 1. Fantastic driving from both of those guys and a really good battle to see. So that is Jan Studentsky up into 5th place in GT300.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having a check. No, he didn't have any. Philippakis didn't have any incidents on the last lap before he pitted.
Terry Dahlberg's had an incident. Sorry,
oh, dear.
I just switched to him and I saw him on the grass and re-entering the racetrack. I don't know quite what happened there, but that's going to give Greg Metcalf a bit of a kick.
Yeah, indeed.
Looks like he just went off by himself.
Yeah, but the gap, I mean, Dahlberg, he
Jakovic pits.
It's a shame to say that, but Dahlberg can afford to do this. I mean, his gap was just awesome.
Yeah,
20 seconds or so.
Okay, so we got 3 guys in the pits at the moment. Adam Taylor has taken over the Virez car for the final stint. Folker and Hinz are both in the pits. There's someone else. No one else is in the pits. So Hinz and Folker currently taking their final pit stops of the race, and Adam Taylor has re-entered the track as the new pilot of the Virez Nissan.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor just plays it very conservative from here. I mean, actually,
yeah,
they
managed to retain the lead.
Well, yeah, crazy. Jakovic has done the crazy, aggressive kind of laps every single lap and made it work, and Taylor just has to cruise now. Oddly, I mean, I hadn't seen Jakovic do many laps before this race on the server, whereas Taylor had. So I mean, I would have said Taylor was probably a little bit of a safer bet, but Djakovic has done all the work.
He certainly has, but I've just received okay, that's a bit odd. Thomas Hin's stopping in the pits. I then received a private message from him in TeamSpeak with the simple hashtag #SoDone. And I was wondering if he'd retired and now he's back out on track again. I am unsure of what just happened.
How did he know?
I think he's starting to become a little weary of.
Do Australians have a
time.
sixth sense for each other?
I don't know. Like that was a bit of a strange occurrence, but nonetheless, Thomas Hin's back out on the circuit. It's currently Monday morning for him. I don't envy him at all.
That's all right. He can have a little bit of a Sunday drive for the rest of the race if he wants. He's not. I mean, he's not last by any means.
No, he's got a top 10 in the bag at the moment.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Ramada has got Taylor in his sights at the moment. Gap between them is 1.3 seconds. Oh, and 1.6 seconds now.
Yeah. I'm afraid to say, unless Taylor does something silly, that is a done deal. I mean, however fast Ramada wants to drive, his tyres just won't be able. They won't be up to the standard of Taylor's.
Yeah, certainly not.
We can almost forget about the battle for the lead. Might still have something brewing in the final podium position in GT 500. What happened to that battle between? Let me just have a look at the GT 300s.
Lowe and Riera are still. Lowe and Riera are a bit further apart now. Just for third place in GT 500, but yes, GT 300. What is going on there?
Well, Stur is trying to hold on to the back of Studenski, but I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Stur and Studenski have swapped positions again.
Oh, sorry.
Stur is back in front.
So there must have been some sort of spin from Studenski.
Yes, that's interesting to see. Well, now Studenski's got to do it all over again.
And Lundvall now only 10 seconds back, as opposed to the 20 seconds that it was when we last spoke about the GT300s.
That must have been a spin from Studenski there. Apologies for missing that. But the gap between Stur and Studenski is not that large. They're separated by less than the length of the start-finish straight.
You mind if I do a shameless plug?
Go for it.
Oh, bollocks. So, sorry for swearing. Sorry. My team cars were together, but the wrong one was ahead, so they're separating now. Oh well. So, where's the battle now? As we expected, the gap is opening up. I mean, Ramada is really trying to hang on, but as we said, I don't think there's very much he can do about that.
Bit of a slide from Ali Ferry, sorry.
Yep.
Just lost it a little in the final sector. But other than that, nothing much to report.
Yeah, the field's slightly split up a bit. Although, take a look at Broutigam. He is, sorry to use this adjective again, but he is steaming up to the back of Shallow.
Choo-choo.
Yeah, choo-choo indeed.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Last lap time was a 1:37, 1:39. 1:38 basically, but Jesus Christ, 1:37. That's the fastest lap of the race. I'm almost certain. So he's going for qualifying laps.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, goodness me. I guess that's why that car started on pole. Question is, can Broughtingham keep it together in his attempts to make his way back up the field. He is currently in 10th place, threatening 9th. And they're coming up to a GT300 that is Studensky, yes. Oh, here we go. Broughtingham going for the late apex, trying to get that little bit of a better run onto the start finish straight. They go past Studensky. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is going to be the move, I think, for 9th place. Thierry Shallow leading at the moment, but Broughtingham is going to pull out and try to go for the move. No, he thinks better of it. I think Broughtingham's had enough run-ins at turn 1 to know that maybe that's not quite the best thing to do at this point.
No.
Oh, but he's closing right up.
And he's probably going to go for a move here, but he's got to be so careful with this turn-in. It's such an odd corner, and the curb just really throws the rear end. So you got to, especially. I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, he's thinking better of it.
Yeah. Some remarkably safe driving from Broughtingham, considering what we've seen from him in this race so far. He's going to try and go for the late apex run out of here, though. Isn't quite able to get the traction out of the corner, as has Shallow.
Just to give you an idea,
still moving around.
Just to give you an idea of the pace difference between these cars, Shallow has been running low to mid 141s for the last 4 laps. Oh dear, Lundvall rejoins. That's all right. That's all right. So Shallow's been running low to mid 141s, and we know that Broughtingham's just been doing 137 and probably 138s now. I can check. So there's a little bit of a pace difference between them, largely down to Broughtingham's new tyres, I would think. But yeah, let me just see how much Shallow has slowed Broughtingham up. So he did a 137, 139, and then a 139.5. So this lap should be a little bit slower. Yeah, 141.8. He's sort of been normalised by Shallow's pace, as you would expect.
And this here, you're seeing some strategic driving by Broughtingham here, moving around in Shallow's mirrors, try and unsettle him a bit. Common tactic employed by many drivers. Go for moves, but don't quite see them through. If the guy in front of you can see you moving around in his mirrors, it will distract him, possibly pressure him into a mistake, and that is exactly what Broughtingham is doing right now. He's pulling out a little bit of a wordless message to Shallow. I am here. I really want to get past you. Really, really would appreciate it, but I can't quite at the moment. And Shallow will be left to do with that as he pleases. As I'm noticing on the timing screen, Studensky has just pulled into the pits once more. We are trained on Broughtingham for the next few minutes because our broadcast director has gone on a bit of a break.
Pulling out of the pits and overtakes Studensky in the pits. So where did that come from? Studensky must have had another problem. Or pitted unnecessarily.
That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah. Well,
not too sure what happened there, but
snakes and ladders, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the way of things at the moment, I suppose.
As Studensky becomes the final car running.
Oh.
Wow, what's happened there?
Oh, goodness me, this battle has really heated up. They're going side by side through turn 13. And now Broughtingham is on the outside, coming into turn 1. They got a GT300 in front of them. That's Gabriel Stir in front of them.
And
gonna hold both of them up. Broughtingham
goes off, I think.
Yields. Broughtingham yielding to Thierry Shallow. And now Shallow is left.
His teammates holding Shallow up nicely, though, through this twisty bit.
Certainly is. The question is, can Broughtingham get the traction down? Leaving just enough room as they go past the GT300. Shallow goes back to the tree line to the corner. And Shallow locks up and goes way off. So there we go. That is the end goal. That's the end goal of what Broughtingham was probably looking for. Just move around a bit in his mirrors. Eventually, he will succumb to the pressure and you'll be able to get by him without incident. So there you go. Textbook racing strategy right there.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to Broughtingham. I think he's going to have to come and tell us how to properly pronounce his name, by the way, because I feel so uncomfortable with all the attempts I've made. But yeah, I mean,
all those vowels in a row. It's quite scary to us English speaking people.
Exactly. Awesome driving by him. It's a shame that Shallow went off, but that's what happens under pressure. I mean, he didn't have to. It was totally his own error. Bradicum didn't force him into anything. So good driving by Bradicum.
Most certainly. Well, with that, it seems that there aren't many people who are particularly close on track. Lowe and Riera are very, very spaced out now. Battle that we've been watching for most of the race. I'll tell you what might be something to look out for very shortly would be Philippa Kos versus Folker, the P6 and 7. They are only separated by one corner effectively at the moment, so
two very quick
what's
drivers.
Philippa Kos's time? Philippa Kos, another cut from Philippa Kos, his second of the race. His last timed lap was a 41.9. And what was Folker's? Let's have a look. 39.7. So
yeah,
it will be interesting to see
hard
where
now?
this turns. Yes.
Also, I just want to say that if anyone who has been in this race and who has driver swapped out, we'd love to hear from you. So if you want to jump into our commentary booth, just share your thoughts on the race so far. Any tips on how you've done so well, or the mistakes you've made, how you could have improved those? That would be great to hear.
And any tips on how to pronounce names?
That most of all. So I can see a few people in the YouTube chat who have been racing. So do join. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, you're right about these gaps. How irritating. Well, we could see a change of position quite soon between Charles Baccio and Adam Farmer. That might sound exciting, and unfortunately they're not in the same class, but there we go. It's battle for 17th.
Yes, indeed. Baccio, not
or is it Baccio?
Not in a position I think he'd particularly like to be in.
Let's see what's on the back of that car. Oh, it's Pokemon and Homer Simpson.
Various animated characters, and our race director has returned. Welcome back, Mr. Allison. He who had the presence of mind to leave the camera on Broughtigam as his battles were at their most exciting point.
It looks like a mixture of anime on the back of that talking door. Nissan, God, that was a good save. I remembered in the polls he wanted us to take note of the rear of that car, so there it is. Lots of anime characters he's pasted on there. Lovely.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're coming up to 100 minutes gone of this 120-minute race. And it seems as though everyone's kind of cooled down at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit.
On-track battles very, very spaced out.
Just to see if there's anyone we can bring in to give us a little bit of insight into this race. Well, it seems as soon as they finish driving, they buggered off out of the team speak. Well, I suppose that's fair enough.
I mean, I don't blame them. It's hard work driving these things.
Indeed. I could be very naughty and drag Jakovic up. but he might not like that.
Yeah, he's probably busy spotting for Adam, so
Yeah.
probably not the best decision.
Well, they've got such a big lead anyway. Might be interesting just to throw a few drawing pins into the mix.
Yeah, but let's not. Ooh, Philippakos and Folker closing up quite a bit. Is that a 1, 2, about 3-second gap? Just eyeballing that. Folker's last lap was a cut, but the lap before that was a 40.683. Philippakos's last lap, meanwhile, was a cut, and the lap before that was a 42.448. So Philippakos struggling for pace at the moment, and both of these guys probably should be erring on the side of caution at that curb in the middle of the road corner.
Yeah, well, let me see the gaps. So, behind Folker, we've got 16 odd seconds to Hintz, and we already know that Hintz is kind of just having a little bit of a cruise in this race, so I don't think they have to worry too much about that. Ahead of them, they've got a gap of about 1 minute 14 seconds. So, I think if there's 20 minutes left in this race, if they're going to be aggressive, why not now? I mean, they've got all right points. They're probably not too much in danger.
Philippakos very slow in a straight line, and he's going over the curb at turn 1 a little bit more than he probably would like. And
They're
Folker
right together,
is
aren't they?
right on the back of him, right together. These
Folker
guys
with the lights on immediately.
Your time has come, Lazaros. And it is what Folker is probably saying is, Philippakos leaving him a little bit of room on the outside, just over a car width, but he's moving back over. Oh, squeezing him a little. Folker going through on the outside. Yeah, a little bit of contact there, but probably not enough to hurt either of them too much. But Folker is right on the back of Philippakos now with 19 minutes to go in this race. Philippakos making those very jerky movements. And Folker just running a bit too wide through there. However, he does have that late apex.
He goes off.
Philippakos ran a bit wide on the exit. That's going to kill his speed.
Movements are being slightly emphasised by the pressure that Folker's putting on him now.
Yeah, certainly a little bit of a slide from Philippakos. Meanwhile, Folker.
So what's he trying to do going around the outside?
Look out! Goodness me. Yeah, Philippakos is really, really struggling at the moment. Folker just needs to be a bit patient.
Just needs to be patient. Stuff.
He has got the traction. Folker's got the traction.
Out of the last corner.
Yep, so now...
But Philippakos got the line. Actually, do you think Folker's going to be ahead by the time they get to the corner? Yes, he is.
Oh, yeah,
but would he be able to get the turn in? No.
Whoa! Philippakos!
I called it. Oh, that is a shame. I think that really is I would tend to...
I would say that's pressure.
I'd say that's pressure, but I would say also Folker needed to give him a little bit more room. I don't want to portion blame too much, but I think Lazaros he had a line that he had a right to keep there. Yeah,
but at the same time, Folker was a full car length ahead of Philippakos, so he had a right to the corner.
I don't think when they were before. So in the little blue book of rules, generally, I mean, obviously they might be a little bit different for SimRacing.Club, but in real life, it's if you have the nose up by the time you start turning for the corner, then you have a right to be on the inside. We might have to see that again.
I suppose. Well,
to see whether that was the case.
Philippakos wasn't so much turning as spinning wildly out of control with a locked tyre, so I would hesitate to call that a legitimate move myself, but we will leave that up to the judgment of the stewards.
All right.
But Volker has come off the better for it and has
Much
now,
better.
has now taken up 6th place.
Oddly, considering how many incidents or spins or things like that he seemed to have in the beginning of the race, Marquez has made his way up to 5th, which is not too bad at all.
Yeah,
So
certainly not.
Both Ramado Motorsports cars up in the top 5.
Lowe has just come into the pits again. Not sure what for. I wonder if...
he might have burnt his tyres out.
Yeah, probably. But now...
he's got one cut. No, he only got one cut, so it's not a cut penalty.
Well, now Philippakos, struggling as he is now really being caught up by Thomas Hinz in 8th place, and Philippakos goes off again down into the grass. And Hinz will be licking his lips. He's going to go up the inside here. Ooh, Philippakos shutting the door.
Yeah.
Quite smartly. No thank you, Thomas. You're going to have to wait at least another corner for that, my good man.
Lowe's still not rolling yet, so...
Trying to go around the outside is Hinz, but Philippakos still valiantly trying to defend his track position.
Lowe is going to come out in front of these guys.
And yep, Philippakos, his tyres, I would hazard a guess that his tyres are dead and buried. Because you can tell he's really struggling for grip in the corners and on corner exit as well. Hugging the inside there through the last turn. Hinz getting in his slipstream. And now he's going to be on the outside of turn 1 again. We'll see if Philippakos is going to try defending. He will. Hinz has the presence of mind to back out of the maneuver. And now they've got some GT300 traffic their way in the form of stir.
Do you think this is what we were talking about before?
Farmer?
Do you think Philippakos has had enough little moments to... do you think he's had enough moments to heat his tyres up too much and just get a bit too much degradation on his fronts? And thus his car is really behaving badly.
I would say it's more the rears.
Squirming everywhere.
Yeah, I would say the rears are the biggest degradation for Philippakos, because you can see that he's struggling for grip on the exit of corners, but on entry he's just steaming it in. So I think he feels as though he has more grip available on those fronts. Yeah, look at Hinz weaving around on the straight. I am not happy. Please let me by, Mr. Philippakos. All through the final turn, Philippakos braking so early. Okay, now watch this. Coming through the final turn, Hinz just is able to get the power down a little more efficiently.
Actually, I thought he spun the wheels up a little bit too much. But he's
close enough. A little. But yeah, Philippakos seems to be lacking in straight line speed, full stop. Hinz is going to have the inside though for turn 1, and Philippakos brakes real early. Oh! Contact close, there, but I mean...
Good driving by both of them.
Yeah,
well done
certainly.
For keeping out of it, Philippakos.
Well, there we go. That's another position lost for Lazaros. Thomas Hinz by into 7th. And now Philippakos is going to face pressure from Brottingham.
Yep. Sorry, next on the lap, yeah. Interesting.
Yep. So we'll see how long it takes for Alex to catch up to Lazaros here.
Yeah, I feel like once you've started the rot with these tyres, it's very difficult to bring yourself back on a stint. But again, you know, all power to Philippakos for keeping it on track mostly.
Yeah.
But he is. I
Certainly.
mean, he just seems to be locking up ever so slightly more than some of these other guys.
Yeah, I think Philippakos just needs to get into damage control mode for now. His tires are gone. The race has 12 minutes to go. If he can just hold on for a little longer.
Well, he's going to really have to hold on because his last lap was 3 seconds slower than Bryce.
Yeah, well, by hold on, I mean just keep it on the track and don't worry about the guys trying to pass you. Just let them by. They are obviously quicker. No disrespect to Lazaros, of course, but of course he's been hobbled with some difficulties in this race.
Yeah, well, it's not really the place you'd expect the sort of pole position and third position qualifying cars to be battling for ninth place, isn't it? For 8th place, sorry.
Well, Breitigam is reeling in Philippakos at the moment. Philippakos just, you can see it. He's going so hard into the corners, just try and preserve some semblance of mid-corner speed to try and make the lack of traction on exit a bit more bearable. But Breitigam is
one more lap in it,
almost on his tail.
Got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I'd say by next lap we'll see a proper battle forming here, or earlier if this GT300 car's got anything to say about it. That is, of course, Greg Metcalf there. Philippakos goes through on the inside. And now Breitigam is going to go through on the left-hand side through the final turn, getting a little bit of a slipstream from Philippakos in the process.
Yeah, I think Philippakos slightly got held up through the final complex, but in turn Breitigam got held up himself through the just after the final corner, so it evened out a little bit. But even so, they are right next to each other now. Yeah, that's an awkward place to be held up. Oh dear.
Yes,
so
indeed
yeah,
it is.
We're looking for a move down this straight now. As Breitigam does spin the rears up a little bit, so that'll affect his traction.
It's not going to be
I don't think it's not going to be this straight.
Nah, definitely not.
This must be increasingly frustrating.
Nope.
No, he's just doing the same. I mean, I wonder whether he's just going to do the same thing he did to who was it?
Riera,
yeah.
Oh, look out! Oh, Breitigam had to slow up massively in the middle of that corner. Yeah, just the mid-corner grip in Philippakos' car is quite simply not there anymore. You can see, like, in the mid-corner, physically the gap getting much, much smaller. Philippakos also getting a bit more crossed up on exit. This is the exact same strategy that we saw before.
Will he be as patient as last time, considering there are only 8 minutes left?
Well, 8 minutes is more than enough time
but remember,
to get past a car.
He was very conservative last time, and it took him about 5 or so laps.
Spinning up the rears.
I don't think he's being as patient. Spinning up the rears kind of suggests that. So, where do you place your bets? Where do you think it's going to get done? I'd say
here. Nope.
Next lap. I'd say he's going to wait until the pit straight again.
I would like to withdraw my bet. I'd say
500 to my PayPal, please. Thanks.
No, thank you.
I wouldn't say he's going to go for the. He needs to work on that traction. He's spinning.
Yeah.
He's not being gentle enough.
Just
on
needs
the
to be
throttle.
patient. Oh, we might go for it here. Yeah, Philippakos is guarding the inside. Breitigam trying to take around the outside, but of course there is no way that's going to happen there. Oh.
That's what happens when you grab too much of that curb, and that's gonna give Philippakos another lap breathing space, I would think, unless, well, I've got there. He's already so much closer. Right again. So I would say, I mean, from watching this, to have a done and dusted, no problem pass kind of thing, you need to be about 3 seconds a lap quicker, maybe 3.5, with sort of
Yeah,
no
most
problems.
likely.
But it's just sort of on that cusp, enough to hold Broticam up, to sort of wrong foot him a little bit.
Yeah, it
As
is.
we see the nice sort of
under brakes.
white spatter of apparently dirt on the side of
Volker in the
Brotigan's car.
pits for some reason.
Yeah,
So
these are some
these
odd
guys are
late
probably going to
pits.
get an extra
Low
position.
as well, pitted very late. I wonder why.
Here we go.
So
I'd
Hints
say
goes
turn
past.
1. This is going to... turn 1 is the place you will
I
need to be
don't think
watching.
so.
We'll see if Philippakos can defend it.
Yeah, he's going to pull out of it. But does Brotigan make
no.
it? Oh, he just does.
There we go.
Did he go off a little bit? Because if he
Yeah,
went
he did.
off... Okay, well, does he have to give it back then?
No, the pass was completed before he did it.
Well,
I
mean,
no.
you know, if you can still be on the tarmac when you get in front, but you know, if you're taking too much speed to not be able to make the corner, does that count?
I don't know. It's difficult to tell at that point of the track because really you're not gaining or losing any time through there because it's grass anyway.
Well, I think it's slightly shortcutting the track, but anyway, there we go. So yeah, really, this is the only battle of the race, unless you want to think about some of the GT500s trying to overtake for position on the GT300s, Newcomb, Bacchio. Yeah. So let's stay on this battle. Let's see if Philippakos can pull it back. I don't think he can. He's wiggling around all over the place.
Yeah, certainly.
I'll tell you what, why don't we have a lap on board with Taylor just to see how it's done? If that
I think
car
that's a
is
very
so
good
quick.
idea, especially at this late stage of the race.
So why don't you take us through as he starts one of the final laps of the race. We have just about 4 minutes to go. That'll give us about 3 or 4 laps. Here we go. On board
Yes,
with
indeed.
Reese.
All right, on board with Reese, or rather Adam Taylor, at the Euro Speedway Lausitz, coming down the front stretch. You want to look for the 100-meter board to start your braking. Be careful of the apex curbing here, and keep your car nice and straight through this section. This is an extremely technical section of corners. Don't want to take too much curb, but you also don't want to run too wide either, otherwise you stand to lose a lot of time. A lot slower than it looks, this section of corners. Stay off the throttle until the absolute last possible moment and then blast down this back straight. You're back onto the oval. And now it's a little bit confusing here. You want to look for the 100-meter marker once again. Turn in nice and early. Cut across that curb, but not too much. And then stay to the left-hand side of the track and try and maintain grip through here. It's a bit easier because there's a bit of a rise in the elevation. And then as Taylor goes past the GT300 of Tero Dahlberg, you've got a little bit of a straight here. Try and blast past cars. This turn here, a lot faster than it looks. Late apex it, and then run out across the exit curb, and then you've got another short straight towards another heavy braking zone. You're looking for the 100-meter marker in the GT500s. This is a second gear corner, a little bit faster than it looks actually. Run out over the exit curb, and then flat out through this right-hander. Looking for a braking point for this right-hand hairpin, and then you stay hard right, and then get a nice clean exit through this left-hander. Be careful of the wall on the right-hand side, because you may hit it if you get on the throttle too early, and then stick it to the inside through turn 13, and that is a lap of the Euro Speedway Lausitz with Team Vires.
And a very nice lap of that, but Riera has, while you've been talking, has been out of the race, and now he's just rejoined behind Bryce Lowe. So interesting development. That was very unfortunate, but at least he's back on track. He's exiting the pits now.
Yeah, certainly. I did see that, thought about mentioning it, but I figured it was a good idea to continue narrating the lap.
Yeah.
And
bear in mind,
with that,
Ramada is the only other car on the lead lap. How about that?
He's just gone a lap down.
Has he actually?
No, Marquez.
No,
I
he
was
hasn't.
looking at Marquez at the time, sorry. My mistake. Marquez, when I clicked over to him, he was at a stop at pit exit and he just managed to get going again. But yes, Ramada, the only other car on the lead lap, just further showing how much Virus have dominated this race.
Yeah, I mean it's getting to be a bit of a trope at SimRacing.Club, isn't it? To see Vira's right up at the front in many of these series that they enter. Of course, they have just started a driver program, and it's quite odd to see that they haven't entered any new drivers from that in this race. But yeah, same. What is it? Trooping the color or whatever it's called. Oh god, my brain's gone. Anyway, it's the
Mine
the
is too, don't worry.
Same story. Taylor and Jakovic running away with the race, much as it has been in some of the VEC races this season.
Ain't that the truth? But 119 out of 120 minutes of the race completed. I'm not sure whether this is going to be the final lap or next lap. We'll have to wait and see. This is the final lap according to Mr. Ellison.
It is trooping the colour. Sorry. Go
Yeah.
on.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, what else can you say about Vires? Like, they've been absolutely on it from the moment the green flag dropped, taking the lead at turn 1, and then just cruising out in front all race, staying out of trouble, and keeping their strategy nice and spick and span, where it seemed to have been a race where a lot of people have not quite kept all of their tyres on the road, so to speak.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just watching Taylor now, and even now he's not letting up. He's just full pedal to the metal right until the line, as if he has something to worry about behind.
Well, he's only got 4 corners to go. Now 3. And now 2. And now 1. And Team Vires can celebrate.
Countdown.
Team Vires can celebrate their dominant victory in round 1 of the Virtual Super GT at Euro Speedway Lausitz. 2 hours, 1 minute, 15.178 seconds is the time of the winning car.
Drive.
Absolutely flawless drive and instantly into the donuts.
Yeah.
So
only one cut in the whole race.
Incredible consistency. Philippa Kos and Folker and Riera finishing the race behind them 2 and 3 laps down, respectively. Pedro Ramada is rounding the final turn now.
It's not bad for Ramada Motorsport. Second and third.
Certainly. A very, very well-deserved double podium finish for these guys. Fantastic stuff to see. And they're going to go for the photo finish there.
And Bryce Lowe, a very nice finish in 4th.
Yeah,
and
certainly.
Thomas Hintz, after all his "I'm done" rubbish to you, 5th place. Not bad at all.
Top 5, Hinsey. What do you got to complain about, mate? Fantastic stuff. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, a very, very good finish for Hins Motorsport here.
And so, I'm sorry we missed it, but Taro Darberg cleaning up the GT300 field.
Oh yes.
Not from the. I don't think he was on pole. I might be wrong about that.
Wasn't.
But
I don't think so.
Exceptional race from him. I mean,
almost
similar to the Vires.
Dalberg started from the pit lane. Mr. Allison has just told us.
Well,
what a drive!
Incredible race.
Yeah.
And right off the back of SimRacing.Club Academy win as well, I think.
Yeah, and a reminder, Dalberg did that with his game crashing mid-race due to his antivirus, so that just makes the win even more incredible.
I think that might have been someone else, actually. That was Rona. Yeah.
Rona. I knew I'd messed something up. Sorry, guys.
Starting from the pit lane is not an easy job.
I will hand in my resignation letter.
Greg Metcalf and Santiago Caru. I can't remember his first name. I think it's Marcel. Is it Marcel? Anyway, Santiago Caru is the last bit of his name. Very nice job to get second place in GT300. Both of them straight off the back of the academy again. So excellent job by those guys.
Yeah.
And then we have to go back to 16th to get the final podium spot in GT300, and that is the ERF team, driven, I think, entirely by Boris Bakulski. So very nice drive from him.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, good race.
Yeah.
Gap slightly opened up in the end, but it was nice. We had a few little battles towards the end, which weren't too bad. Brotigan versus Philippakos, etc.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I got to say that was quite an entertaining race. There was some very consistent action all throughout the 2 hours. And yeah, as we see Vokolsky pulling into his garage, we should be getting our first interview now. He's just joined. Thomas Hins joining us in the commentary box now. Well, Thomas, you messaged me earlier saying that you were so done, and then you got the top 5 finish. How does it feel?
Weird, because yeah, when that happened there, when I did the little poke there, I was quite annoyed because I was in for a good spot there, and then contact happened into turn one. It was probably more really just a racing incident. I was defending pretty hard, and Mike went for the pass, but didn't quite leave enough space. A little bit of touch, and around we went. So it was I thought it was a bit of just a really racing incident. But apologies to Mikel either way. If I was defending a little bit hard, I just wanted to hold the position. Yeah, it was a weird one because I actually went on the wrong tyre at the start. I was on the hard tyre because I actually had no idea strategy-wise, because being me, I just kind of came in here and winged it like I always do, and most of the time. And yeah, so I was on the wrong tyre, and so I was really slow, and that's why in the start I was really struggling for pace, because everyone was just on the quicker tyre. But I kept at it, tried to keep it clean. Unfortunately, tagged the wall at the last corner, and with the damage on, full, I had a bent steering, so I ended up pitting a little bit earlier to get that fixed because I thought I was losing too much pace. Put on the medium and came back out and was able to put in some good times, and obviously contact happened, so went back in again, and then just thought I'd put on the soft and I'll just go for a blast, and just went for a bit of a blast around the last bit. Good battle with Lazarus there at the end to get past him. He defended real hard, but I managed to get by, which is good. And yeah, then a few people had some instants ahead. I'm assuming Arjunus had a DC or something because he dropped down, and suddenly I was in P5, and I was like, well, sure, I guess.
And why did you tell Reese that you were done?
what was that, Ed?
We're just gonna gloss over that.
yeah, I guess
we certainly didn't on the commentary.
Yeah, no, as I said, I think after the contact, I was a bit annoyed,
well,
but
I imagined it was because you're so tired. I mean, what time is it? Remind us what time it is where you are.
1:45 in the morning. Well, nearly 1:45 in the morning. Yeah, so.
Well done to you. Let's stick with it.
Yeah. No, as I said, I was a bit annoyed after the contact. So I think I was just sort of, there's my sort of emotional reaction, but I sort of channeled that anger until when I came out, I just went ballistic really in terms of going fast and just putting into my driving, and yeah, found myself doing some good times. And yeah, it all kind of worked out, I guess, in the end. So I'll take it. Why not? Move on to the next
Fantastic.
one, I guess. Should be fun.
All right, brilliant stuff. Well, congratulations, Thomas, and I guess we'll see you at the second round of Virtual Super GT in a month's time.
Yeah, see you guys then. Thanks for the broadcast and everything as well.
Thomas Hins there. Hins Motorsport as hello to Pedro Ramada. We'll get to you very soon, Pedro, but first I think it's high time we interview our winners, Team Vires, Adam Taylor and Nikki Jakovic. We'll have a chat to Nikki first. Nikki, fantastic first couple of stints there, taking the lead at turn one in a very decisive move, and just from then you kept extending the gap. You must have had a very good car under you.
Hello, yes. We had some sets when a car was released, and we had to get it, for this track, like acclimatize. We didn't have much time, so everything was last minute, and Adam was doing a lot of testing, and I would, help with the set when it needs, and Actually, he was supposed to do the race alone, but
Oh.
he didn't wake up in time. So I was
Oh.
planning to do like the last stint. And just a few minutes before the quali starts, I was out, come home. What is this? Nobody here. So I get in, somehow
Oh, dear.
qualify second. And yeah, I don't know. The start was good. Got a good brakes on turn one, and just was confident to do the move since the different tires, and from then it was good. Actually, I expected to have a little more gap to Pedro, but he kept it well, and we were planning to do four stint strategy, three stop, but during the
Oh.
race we noticed somehow the grip was going up and up, and we just realized maybe just switching and making the other stints a little longer is gonna work better, and it just did. Like it, we just caught Pedro on the end of that stint and leapfrogged him, which was just a great strategic mind there for us, and it worked well. Very pleased with that.
Fantastic to hear. Well, that's an interesting fact about your race that, of course, none of us had any idea about. The fact that it almost didn't happen. Adam, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I just woke up and I looked at the clock and I was like, oh no. And then I joined the TeamSpeak. I was like, as the race started, and Nikki was like, we're leading. So I was like, thank goodness that you're driving. But yeah, Nikki did a great job, and when he handed me the car, we were just in the lead, which was perfect. I had to save a little bit of fuel in the final stint, but it meant that we came out ahead, so it was perfect.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I suppose with that dominant victory in round one of the Virtual Super GT, this is only a 4-round series, but I guess how do you feel coming into the next 3 rounds? You obviously, as you guys said, you had setups available from when the car was first released, so you've got one bit of the preparation hurdles out of the way.
I'll take on that. Well, I quite like the race being this early because it gets you fresh. You get up nice and have a lot of time. You don't spend the whole day waiting for the race and warming up for something that you're gonna do like when it's night during the day, which is what we do in WEC. So I quite like this format. It worked well. I jumped straight into this and was right on pace, which is very, very lovely to have. And yeah, but looking forward to more of that.
Fantastic to hear. Well, congratulations to both of you on a very, very well-driven race, and I suppose we'll see you for round 2 of the Virtual Super GT in a month's time.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.
Nikki Jakovic and Adam Taylor there from Team Vires, your winning team, and I think now is a very good time to speak to Pedro Ramada. Ramada Motorsport got 2 cars on the podium in this event. Pedro, a very good event for you guys.
Yeah, sorry about that in the beginning because I didn't read on the on the room. It was broadcast, so I just
no
thought
worries.
that you guys are all together to talk. So sorry about that. And
That's fine.
Yeah, for me it was really demanding because I didn't practice enough, and I guessed more or less a good way to go on the setup, especially to the end of the hour, because I did 1 hour on the tires, and clearly it was a bad strategy for me. But yeah, in the beginning I could do my own pace, try the best as I could, stay close to Nicky. Obviously, he did an amazing pace as always, so. For me, it was difficult to do that because different strategies and whatnot. So, and then on the second hour, I just I break the pace quite a bit, and getting tired, and it's way too demanding. The second hour, especially on this track, is really demanding. At least for me, mentally, I couldn't keep up with it. It's the truth. So. But I'm very happy with the result. And once I saw in the beginning, in the final minutes, that I couldn't keep up with Adam because he started his stint like 30 minutes, 32 minutes left to the race end. So yeah, much more fresh driver than me, and obviously I couldn't keep up. So after that, I just did my pace, really much more slower, and yeah, save it to the end. Apart from one or two slides in the in the last chicane, because of the tiredness and loss of focus, because of the slow pace. But yeah, nevertheless, it was enough for second place, and I'm really looking forward to it to Suzuka. And congrats, obviously, to Nikki and Adam. They always do a excellent job. So it was really fun for me.
Brilliant. Well, fantastic to hear from you, Pedro. Congratulations on the double podium, and I guess we'll see you at Suzuka on March 26th.
Yeah, see you there.
Who should we bring up next? I think for a bit of a chat, let's bring
How about Bryce Lowe?
Bryce Lowe.
The,
yes, I think that's a good
up
idea.
and down
Fourth
through the
place
race.
finisher. Yeah, definitely, Bryce. That was quite an eventful race for you. You had your ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it was a fourth place finish.
Yeah, pretty bummed I spun when I was in third, and then I want to apologize to the GT300 that connected with me, and I might have ruined his race. Also, Tero, I almost killed him, but I didn't, so we're both alive. But yeah, that was fun. It was a good race. Nice to sit there for 2 hours and just go for it.
You had quite a intense battle with Argenis Riera for much of the race. How was that from your perspective? It was quite an eventful race, especially in the first stint.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed the beginning of the race. I just felt like I was gaining time on the guys, whoever was in front of me, and it was just cool to like yo-yo with Riera. So yeah, just good fun, good racing.
Fantastic. And obviously, you'll be riding this high of a fourth place finish in round one of the Virtual Super GT. But next round is at Suzuka. What are your thoughts on that track? It's a very different track to the Euro Speedway Lausitz, much more open and flowing.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the car handles it. Plus, I'm way more comfortable at Suzuka. I'd never driven this track till practicing for this race. So yeah, I'm really excited because I feel like I'll be fast there.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Bryce, and hopefully we'll chat to you again at Suzuka.
Cool. Thanks very much.
And I was going to have a chat to Argenis Riera, but unfortunately he seems to have left. So I think it'd be a good option to go for Tobias Rona. Tobias, you're the only GT300 guy in the broadcast booth at the moment, but you had a very interesting race, especially apparently your antivirus crashed your game.
Yeah, Reese, I'm a GT 500 driver, but I finished.
of
We
course.
finished unfortunately very way down because my antivirus crashed. Yeah.
I'm really sorry, Tobias.
Place.
Really sorry.
No worries, Reese. We were lying in fourth place at the time, which really I had a bit of a fit behind my wheel when that happened, and then we lost like 3 or 4 laps because of that. Trying to make the ground back up in the second stint, but yeah. Difficult race for us, but we have some good pace in the car, and I think we hopefully improve for Suzuka.
Yeah, of course. I should have remembered you were a GT 500 driver. We were practicing on the server last week in the same car. Sorry about that, but obviously, you know, an eventful race for you. You're really looking forward to Suzuka. What about the other tracks in the series coming round? What are the other 2 tracks? They are Malaysia and Toban. Never raced at Toban before. I know it's quite some time away, but what are your thoughts on the rest of the season? How do you think it's going to go? How do you think the cars are going to handle these tracks, especially with the multi-class aspect?
Well, Suzuka is very wide, and like that's just a lovely track for that car in general. And Sepang as well. Like the high downforce of the GT500 is gonna feel really good around that track. And there's enough space for plenty of cars, so it should not be too difficult to deal with traffic. Now, Toban, I have absolutely no idea how that's gonna go because I've never driven that track, and just gonna be a new experience for many of us, I guess.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll be able to get some very good results at those tracks. Thank you very much, Tobias, for joining us in the commentary box, and hopefully we'll have a chat to you again in a month's time.
Very much.
All right. Well,
so I think it's looking pretty tasty for the next round. Obviously, that will be in a month's time. But I also want to bring people's attention to the SimRacing.Club 12 Hours of Bathurst, which is going to be just before the next round of the VSGT. And the Bathurst race will be on the 18th. So everyone keep your ears pricked for that. Right. Reese, final thoughts?
Final thoughts were for someone who didn't even know that he was going to be commentating this race until a few minutes before qualifying was due to start. I certainly don't regret joining the broadcast team for this event. It was really fun to commentate. Actually, the first R-Factor 2 race I've ever commentated on, and it really put on a very good show tonight. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. If the action is going to be anywhere near as exciting as it was here at Lausitzring, I can't wait. 4 weeks between races. What am I going to do in all that time?
Wait quietly in a corner.
Waiting is what we shall do.
Well, we shall see you at the next race. Tune in on the March the 18th for the 12 Hours of Bathurst, and for the next VSGT. Let me just have a quick look. Sorry, I should have had this prepared. On the 26th of March, so roughly a week later. We will see you then.